The FCS draft eligible players this year feel absolutely stacked. We did a video about Charles Grant, the left tackle from William & Mary, and David Walker, the edge rusher from Central Arkansas, and we haven't even mentioned either North Dakota State or South Dakota State, who have seemingly been the two powerhouses of the FCS level for the last decade. A big part of the reason why these teams are so successful is because they always seem to produce NFL caliber offensive linemen. One of the more intriguing linemen in the class is Bison offensive lineman Greyzabel. Zabel has played a ton of snaps in his collegiate career and has put up some really good numbers as well. In a tackle class that is a bit weaker than it has been in years prior, how high could we see Zabel get taken in the 2025 NFL Draft? That is what we will be going over in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, consider checking out my Patreon page, where for $5 a month, you guys will get exclusive access to my in-depth draft guide and big board with over 550 prospects and counting. You guys will also be given the opportunity to vote weekly on which prospects you guys would like to see in a future spotlight. It is some of the best work I've ever put together, and if you guys do enjoy my NFL draft content, I highly recommend checking it out. Leave a comment and let me know which players you guys would like to see in a future video, and without further ado, let's take a closer look at Greyzabel. Zabel has been super impressive over the last couple of seasons for the Bison. He really burst onto the scene in 2023 and had some really impressive numbers, finishing the season allowing just 9 pressures and 2 sacks in 911 offensive snaps. He was viewed as a potential sleeper coming into the year, and he's looked really great for another season. In 727 offensive snaps, Zabel has allowed 6 pressures and 1 sack, and after getting invited to the Senior Bowl, many people think he could be a really interesting player to watch and could be a potential big riser. The biggest standout with Zabel is his versatility and experience that he brings to the NFL level. He has played everywhere for the Bison throughout his career, and that's not an exaggeration. He has 735 snaps at left tackle, 453 snaps at left guard, 17 snaps at center, 222 snaps at right guard, and 1,064 snaps at right tackle. He has played in 2,533 snaps in his career and has been absolutely dominant at the FCS level. He has only allowed 28 pressures on the season, and that's something that is absolutely remarkable to see from any player. Where Zabel excels on the field is in the run blocking game. He is 6'6", but he moves incredibly well for the size that he has. He has good quickness to climb up into the second level and move guys in the run game. He is very good in space and is an incredibly powerful blocker. He's physical and plays with a level of nasty that you come to expect when you watch FCS offensive linemen. He's going to be a big difference maker in the run game because of his ability to get out in space and land hard blocks. I also think that Zabel brings some real pop in his hands. He hits hard, as we mentioned, but he understands leverage, and he understands how to counter pass rush moves. There were multiple times when I was left really impressed with his ability to redirect rushers with his hands, and I think that's a big bonus for him. There is one major issue that I'm worried about when it comes to Zabel, and it is his pass protection. On paper, there is a lot to love with him, and he's not given up much pressure in his career. But when you turn on the tape, I was left wanting much more from him than what we got as a pass protector. He has shorter arms than you would like to see from the tackle position, and it shows. There are a lot of times when you want him to make first contact, get his hands on the outside shoulders of defenders, and he doesn't have the length, and from there his biggest issue shows. He has an awful tendency to lunge as a pass protector. He looks completely out of control at times, and the lack of length for him could be a major problem at the NFL level if he doesn't get things figured out. I also think his base and his footwork are very inconsistent. He doesn't have a very strong stance, and he was overpowered at times in areas that I wouldn't like to see. He isn't a bad pass protector by any stretch of the imagination, but the lack of length does limit his reaction. And when he doesn't have the most fluid footwork, I think he is much more of a project than what people want to give him credit for. The other thing people will discuss is the competition level. He's played against FCS competition, and he's dominated at that level, but he's not played against any great players. The Senior Bowl will be a big test for him, and I need to see how he looks against more talented edge players, because as of now, there are a lot of concerns I have in his game. Greyzabel is a very interesting prospect. He brings some elite tools and traits to the NFL, as well as the ability to bring lots of experience to a locker room. He's a good player, but I'm unsure if he's going to be a day one starter at the next level. He is my number 14 tackle in the draft class, because I think he is that good of an athlete, and that he's really good as a run blocker as well. Yes, I would like to see improvements in pass protection, but he is my number 103 overall prospect in the draft class. In terms of a scheme fit, I think that Zabel will work best in a heavy run scheme. Given his explosiveness and his ability to clear people in the run game, I think that he is going to thrive in a scheme that runs the football a lot. The biggest question to me isn't, is he going to be in a zone scheme or a gap scheme or anything like that. It's what position is he going to play at the next level. And while I do have concerns about the length, I do think it's worth giving him a shot early on in his career, given how dominant he has been at tackle throughout his career. And if he struggles, you know he brings you flexibility to kick him inside. My player comparison for Zabel is Tampa Bay Buccaneers right tackle Luke Goedeke. Goedeke has been a pretty good run blocker throughout his career, but has had some major struggles in the pass protection game. Both Zabel and Goedeke are really versatile linemen who have upside to play on the inside or play tackle. Goedeke was originally drafted as a guard, but moved to right tackle where he was initially playing in college and has been really solid, and I think Zabel could have a very similar career path. Greyzabel is a prototypical swing tackle. He can play everywhere along the offensive line and can be a big difference maker in the run game. He is a solid player who I think can be good at the next level. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to really know what he brings in pass protection, but I believe that Greyzabel will be a third round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.